Okay, so now that I'm back, I can make this last video for the night. Now, as a person who is a scientist, shaman, spiritual guide, multiple different titles, I can tell you that autoimmune disease and the majority of dis-ease have spiritual components to them. And it's important that you understand when I say this, I want to preface it by saying that I'm not saying that because you were a bad person, you have a particular dis-ease, but I am saying that autoimmune disorders where the body is attacking itself normally occurs when there's a lack of balance spiritually. So, for instance, your spiritual imbalance leads you to do certain things. And those things that you do, those actions that you take or don't take, create imbalances, right, spiritually. And often, when we look at things from a spiritual standpoint and you correct those spiritual imbalances, you then are able to correct the things that you were doing that trigger the autoimmune disease. I can even go further, and most people don't agree or don't like when I say this. The cancer cells are onco cells, ONCO cells. And onco cells are found normally in the body. This is why when you have cancer, they say, is it benign or is it malignant? Meaning, is it okay or is it not okay? Is it going to kill you? Is it not going to kill you? And if it's not a threat to you, they don't do anything about it, right? If it were a threat to you or if it mattered as much as whether or not it was a threat, they would just take all of the cells, but they don't because it's important to leave them for different reasons. Everything has a reason in the body. And most of the time, we live out of balance. And I'm not just talking about out of balance with nature, I'm talking about out of balance with the self and who we are. And I can tell you, when I was diagnosed with my autoimmune disorder in 2017, I knew that it had some spiritual components because I really was living outside of my spiritual knowledge base. And when I started correcting the issues that I had going on, cutting away people, getting back to what I believed and how I had lived, it reduced some stress, which the autoimmune disorder, lupus, one of the things that triggers it is stress. And my labs, because I'm a scientist, laboratory medicine, started to become normal, right? So to the point of where my ANA went completely normal, right? And multiple labs went completely normal. And again, that was that occurred after I did all of the spiritual stuff. It didn't occur while I was taking the medication. I got worse while I was on the medication. So when I did have success, of course, I did work with my medical team, and my doctors were like, "Well, keep doing what you're doing." So when things happen within my body, I know that there's something more going on. Now, I can go and expound on this and say, from an astrology point of view, you're born with a makeup, and that particular makeup of where your houses are and your numerology energy is also brings a propensity for certain dis-ease within the body, right? Because you're drawn to things that create a lack of balance in a certain area, right? And anything out of balance creates dis-ease, the absence of ease in the body and the life. So anyway, in my clinic, I work with the whole individual, right? So there's their spiritual component and there's that physical component. and I don't do too much woo woo to where a person forgets they're living in the everyday, and I don't do too much of the physical to where a person forgets that they are a spiritual being having a human experience. You have to marry both sides of those in order to adequately work with the person. Okay. I am also a member of the American Association for Drugless Practitioners. So there's no prescribing of anything, any medication of this, that, and the third that most people do. So just wanted to give you some information, and now I'm going to go on with the rest of my evening and do the things that I have to do. Take care.